Welcome back to WION World is One. You're watching Speed News with me, Vidur Kathuria. Let's get started. Days before the 4th anniversary of the start of the Ukraine-Russia conflict, the two-day talks among Ukraine, the US and Russia, marking the third round of bilateral talks this year, concluded in Geneva with no breakthrough. The first day talks lasted 6 hours in both bilateral and trilateral formats, while the second day talks lasted 2 hours. Zelensky also told media that monitoring of a ceasefire with US participation as well as sensitive political issues such as Donbass and the Zaporizhia nuclear power plant were discussed. US President Donald Trump has again shifted his tone, saying UK Prime Minister Keir Starmer was making a big mistake by entering into a lease of the US-UK airbase on Diego Garcia. Under a 2025 agreement, Britain will transfer sovereignty of the Chagos Islands to Mauritius while retaining control of the Diego Garcia base under a 99-year lease. Trump, who is considering strikes on Iran, lashed out hours after the US State Department gave its official backing to UK to plan to cede sovereignty of the British Indian Ocean Territory to Mauritius. Germany is hosting one of NATO's key military drills, a large-scale exercise designed to test how fast Allied forces can move if crisis strikes Europe's eastern flank. Steadfast Dart 26 exercise brings together 10,000 soldiers from 11 NATO nations. It is currently underway at the German military training facility in Putlos. The drill is focused on testing the operational deployment of NATO's reaction force, a rapid response unit meant to move quickly in times of emergency. Denmark's King Frederik arrived in Nuuk for his second visit to Greenland within a year, amid US President Donald Trump's renewed push to acquire the Arctic island. The king said it was a great pleasure to return to Greenland and meet its people, adding that the well-being of Greenlanders had always been close to his heart. He was welcomed by Greenlandic Prime Minister Jens Frederik Nielsen. The visit comes after Greenland, Denmark and the United States launched diplomatic talks late last month aimed at easing tensions following Trump's repeated comments which sparked strains within the NATO alliance. US Secretary of State Marco Rubio will visit Israel on February 28th to meet with Prime Minister Benjamin Netanyahu amid heightened tensions over Iran. In the wake of US-Iran talks in Geneva, Iran is expected to submit a written proposal on how to avoid its standoff with the US. Top national security advisors met in the White House Situation Room to discuss Iran and were told all US forces deployed to the region should be in place by mid-March. This also comes after Israeli Prime Minister Benjamin Netanyahu recently met President Trump in Washington to discuss the Iran situation. A top UN official warns Israeli actions in the West Bank risk undermining prospects for peace even as a fragile ceasefire continues in Gaza. Briefing the Council, she said the region faces a narrow and uncertain opening after years of conflict and suffering. She urged members to consolidate the Gaza ceasefire and advance recovery in line with international law, calling an upcoming US-led Board of Peace meeting in Washington an important step. The Carlo warned, however, that developments in the West Bank are moving in the opposite direction. Bangladesh's new Prime Minister Tariq Rahman addressed the nation for the first time, vowing to strengthen the rule of law. He said his government will turn the country into a safe land for people of all faiths. In a televised address, Rahman outlined his government's priorities and said that improving the law and order situation and strictly controlling corruption to restore peace and security are his top priorities. Rahman asserted that everyone has equal rights over his government. His remarks about a pluralistic society are significant as the Hindu population in Bangladesh has been affected by a series of attacks after then Prime Minister Sheikh Hasina's ouster. Gunfire tore through a busy playground in central Mexico, killing one person and wounding 8. Witnesses recounted a horrifying scene of mothers screaming and children fleeing in panic. The shooting started shortly after dinner time in the small town of San Francisco del Rincon, with round after round rifling into a park filled with playing kids. Peru's Congress is set to name a new president, the country's 8th in a decade. This after Jose Cherry was impeached on graft allegations barely 4 months into his term. Cherry became the latest leader to fall victim to a cycle of institutional turmoil as a powerful Congress battles a weakened executive against a backdrop of chronic corruption and rising violence. He was ousted by lawmakers for suspected involvement in the irregular hiring of several women in his government, an alleged graft involving a Chinese businessman. The chief of the U.S. Military Command, General Francis L. Donovan, responsible for strikes on alleged drug smuggling boats off South America, visited Venezuela for talks with its interim government. It said Donovan met U.S. military personnel who guard U.S. embassy facilities and then members of the interim government. The meeting follows the U.S. seizure of former President Nicolas Maduro in early January 2026 and the subsequent installation of an interim government. U.S. billionaire Les Wexner, alleged to have played a key role in helping Jeffrey Epstein build his wealth, has described himself as naive, foolish and gullible for trusting the late sex offender. In a statement to U.S. lawmakers, the former CEO of Victoria's Secret lingerie brand accused Epstein of stealing vast sums of money from his family when working as his financial advisor. Wexner, who was testifying before a House committee as part of its probe into the Epstein case, has denied any wrongdoing. He was described as a potential co-conspirator of Epstein in a 2019 FBI document, but no charges were ever brought against him. Staff at the Writers Guild of America picketed outside the Writers Guild of America West headquarters. Those on strike say it won't shut down Hollywood production for over 100 days as the Guild's previous strike did in 2023. In April last year, staff at the Writers Guild went public with their own in-house labor union to protect their workers' rights. Indonesia's capital, Jakarta, is fast emerging as the waste capital of the world. Jakarta and its satellite cities, which are home to nearly 42 million people, produce up to 14,000 tons of waste on a daily basis. This has placed increasing strain on 8 landfill sites which serve the region, which are almost entirely full. The problem is not restricted to the capital alone. Indonesia's President Prabowo Subianto recently warned that almost all countries' landfills will be full by 2028. Residents also lashed out at the government for mismanagement of waste. The White House says federal agencies were on standby to step in on DC's water crisis, but that Maryland, Virginia or Washington, DC would need to formally request federal help under the Stafford Act. US President Donald Trump said the federal government will step in to protect the Potomac River following the collapse of a major sewer pipe in the Washington, D.C. region last month. Maryland's Democratic governor accused the Republican administration of not acting on this issue, saying the U.S. Environmental Protection Agency has not participated in a legislative hearing on the cleanup. At least 8 skiers died in an avalanche in California's Sierra Nevada mountains, and a 9th is presumed dead in one of the deadliest single avalanche disasters in U.S. history. Rescuers on skis were able to reach 6 survivors amid an intense weather storm that has dropped several feet of fresh snow on the high Sierra in recent days. One skier remains unaccounted for. The avalanche struck in the Castle Peak area of Truckee, California, engulfing skiers who were completing a 3-day guided excursion. One of the rescued skiers is still being treated in a hospital with non-life-threatening injuries. Residents in the French town of Les Ponts-de-Ceux were hard at work building makeshift barriers to try and keep the waters of the nearby Loire River out of their houses after it flooded following days of rain. The river has been steadily rising over recent days and was only centimeters away from gates of houses situated in the region. 4 French departments, including the surrounding Maine-et-Loire, are under red alert. Major to significant flooding is expected to occur within the next 24 hours. Asian markets edged higher on Thursday, lifted by a rebound in US technology shares, even as geopolitical and rate concerns linger. MSCI's Asia Pacific Index outside Japan rose 0.5%. South Korea's Kospi surged nearly 3% to a record high, and Japan's Nikkei gained more than 0.5%. The rally followed gains on Wall Street after Nvidia announced a multi-year AI chip deal with Meta, boosting sentiment in the tech sector ahead of Nvidia's earnings next week. Oil prices edged lower in nearly Asian trade on Thursday after surging more than 4% in the previous session on fears of US-Iran supply disruptions. Brent crude fell 0.2% to $70.23 a barrel. Crude posted their highest closes since January 30th. Markets are weighing diplomatic efforts in Geneva, where limited progress was reported in nuclear talks, even as Iran signaled rocket launches and the US deployed warships to the region. Analysts say full-scale conflict appears unlikely, keeping traders in a wait-and-see mode. The dollar steadied on Thursday after Federal Reserve minutes showed policymakers are in no rush to cut rates, with several even open to hikes if inflation stays elevated. The euro hovered below $1.18 while sterling held near $1.34. US yields ticked higher, supporting the greenback. The yen weakened about 1% to 154.78 per dollar, pressured by stronger US data and news of $36 billion in new Japanese investment projects in the US, part of a broader $550 billion pledge. The Kiwi remained under pressure, down nearly 1.4% after New Zealand's central bank struck a cautious tone on rates. Microsoft has promised to power all its data centers with 100% renewable energy after meeting this goal for the first time last year. The company reached its 2025 target by contracting 40 gigawatts of new clean energy, mainly through long-term power purchase agreements. 19 gigawatts have already been supplied to the grid, with the rest expected to come online over the next 5 years. And it will cover 26 countries. Microsoft also announced it will invest $50 billion by 2030 to expand AI and cloud services, particularly in the global south. The German appeals court has ruled that social media platform X must provide vetted researchers access to public data linked to Hungary's April 12th parliamentary election. The ruling requires X to share post reach, engagement and other metrics affecting research on disinformation, hate speech and election manipulation. Plaintiffs Democracy Reporting International and the Society for Civil Rights won after previous requests for data during Germany's 2025 federal election were denied. The Berlin Appeals Court said German researchers can seek data locally, overriding X's EU headquarters in Ireland. Meta CEO Mark Zuckerberg has appeared in a US court to answer questions about Instagram's effect on young users' mental health. The Los Angeles trial is part of a landmark lawsuit alleging Meta profited by keeping children engaged despite knowing the platform could harm their well-being. The case involves a California woman claiming Instagram and YouTube worsened her depression and suicidal thoughts, seeking damages from the companies. Similar lawsuits are emerging worldwide, with countries like Australia and US states as well imposing age-based social media restrictions. Defending champions India maintained their unbeaten tournament record with a 17-run victory over the Netherlands in Ahmedabad. With Super 8 qualification already secured, India opted to bat first after winning the toss. Despite world number 1 T20 batter Abhishek Sharma bagging his third consecutive duck at the World Cup, the hosts managed to post a total of 193 for 6 in their 20 overs. Shivam Dube top scored for India with 66 off just 31 balls. Netherlands batters found it difficult to get going against the Indian bowlers as they struck regularly. Netherlands were eventually ended their innings on 176 for 7. This was India's 12th consecutive victory at the T20 World Cup. Fresh from his success at the Grammys and a triumphant Super Bowl halftime show, Puerto Rican megastar Bad Bunny is set to take the lead role in a film titled Puerto Rico. The project will be directed by Grammy-winning rapper Rene Residente Perez Jogla. The film will also feature stars such as Viggo Mortensen, Javier Bardem and Edward Norton, and will be produced by Academy Award winner Alejandro González Iñárritu. Pop superstar Kylie Minogue is adding another notch to her icon status with a new Barbie doll in her likeness. The new Kylie Minogue signature collection, Barbie, is donned in all red in deference to the record artist's 2023 Padam music video outfit. Minogue, who received her first Barbie in 2024, won a Grammy that year for Best Pop Dance Recording for the hit song. The doll is available in stores now. US pop star Taylor Swift was crowned the biggest selling global artist of 2025. The news was announced by the industry body IFPI. This is the fourth consecutive year and sixth time she has claimed its annual prize. The 36-year-old success was turbocharged by the October release of her latest album, The Life of a Showgirl, which set several streaming records, as well as the release of a docu-series about her record-breaking Eras tour. The body, which represents the recorded music industry worldwide, noted Swift had won its top annual artist prize as many times as all other artists combined over the past 10 years. IFPI hands out the Global Artist of the Year award after calculating an artist of group's worldwide sales across streaming, downloads and physical music formats. Emerald Fennell's Wuthering Heights, which is witnessing commercial success, has been hit by controversy. Released on Valentine's Day weekend, the film has split audiences over its provocative and depraved take on Emily Bronte's classic. Critics and scholars are locked in a heated debate over the casting of Jacob Elordi as Heathcliff. Many argue that casting a white actor erases the racial subtext of a character Bronte described as dark-skinned. Meanwhile, Fennell had defended her goth girl interpretation, which focuses on the primal obsessive romance between Heathcliff and Catherine. That's it on this edition of Speed News. News and updates will continue on the other side of this short break. Keep watching WION. World is One.